years to save the world. It begs the question, who exactly has 2 years to save the world? The answer is every person on this planet. We still have a chance to make greenhouse gas emissions tumble. Generation of national climate plans, but we need these stronger plans now. Generation of national climate plans, but we need these stronger plans now.
Hello and welcome back to Reforesting for Peace, where we ignite the change through the power of storytelling and the magic of filmmaking. In our previous sessions, dear Hannah, we explored the art of visual composition and the creative process. Today, we embark on a new adventure as we delve into the intricacies of editing and post-production, where the magic happens in turning clips into cinematic marvels. Don't forget that we are using the Mentimeter. And so, hello, changemakers. Welcome to our 6th session of Reforesting for Peace. It's so great to have you all here one more time as we are delving in this transformative world of post-production. But today, we will learn about turning raw footage into impactful stories, but we will also start with a fun challenge to amplify our impact. Let's make some waves with what we are calling the Ripple Effect Challenge. So, what's this Ripple Effect Challenge? Where is Hannah?
Hi, Agustin, and hi, everyone. Yeah, so I'm Hannah, and I'm thrilled to be part of this Ripple Effect with you. So here's the challenge. We want each of you to share this session with at least 5 people right now. Take your phone and imagine the impact we can do with the contacts that we have. So let's multiply our learning and our community strength. Grab your phones, share the session link, and let's see the ripple grow in real time. I'm gonna
Exactly. You just have to do it. 5 people. We will just have 1 minute and we will just showcase how committed we are with this important cause. Okay, Hannah is sharing right now. It's my turn. Let's do a selfie, Hannah. Here.
Wait.
With Hannah.
Yay!
Nice. Now I'm going to my Instagram and sharing. And also, you can also just take the link and share it to your friends, like you don't necessarily need to post anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
and now we're going with Luigi.
Hi, everyone. How are you? How are you, Augustin? How are you, Hannah?
Good, Luigi. Good to see you here.
That's great. Okay, so you can ask for questions through the Mentimeter. So what you do is you type menti.com and you use the code that's shown above, which is 29168205. And you can go and ask questions on there for our speakers. But right now, we want you to tell us where you're from. So just press the area where you're from after entering the code on menti.com.
What was the code again? I'm trying to enter.
Okay, so the code is 29168205.
You can also see it.
It's too fast.
Yeah.
2916.
8205. It's on the screen right there.
I am here to represent all the people that is slow with numbers, okay? Nice. I think I'm here. Okay, so I am transmitting from here. Submit. Then you have to press the button submit. Don't forget that. We have 1 minute. Go, guys. We need to go to the Mentimeters and show us where are you right now. Where are you located right now before we continue with this amazing session? Well, should we keep going? What do we do?
We can wait for, yes, we have the slides as well. So while you all tell us where you're from, we're going to continue with the slides. This is a Mentimeter. If you were having some issues finding the code, now you can see it over there. And Luigi is our Menti girl. Agus, do you want to share our partners?
Sure, this is only possible with our beloved partners. So thank you so much. Thank you, eco-interpreters who are tirelessly interpreting this session into 3 other languages. Then we have CBA helping us with the transmissions and our other partners. Thank you, everyone. We are so happy that you are here with us. And this is Agustin Ocaña, chairperson, founder of the Global Youth Coalition, with the amazing
Hannah. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. And this amazing team, it has a lot of production down. So Irene, everyone in the team, it's a pleasure to be here.
Amazing.
And now, let's remember that these sessions are being interpreted into 4 different languages. So make sure that in the email that you received, you select the language that you want to hear. So this is available for all of you in your first language.
Amazing. So go and check your right language, and don't forget to follow us in our social media, the Global Youth. How you say guión bajo, the Global Youth? Underscore CO, and the rest of other social media. Let's keep going, dear Hannah. And the team. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Bianca, Irene, Luigi, Chris, and all the eco-interpreters team, everyone that is connected with this amazing session. And so please, Hannah.
Yeah, so we're super excited to learn from today's lineup from Kalapana, Arias, Giada, Barsaki, Omar, Jesse, Mohammed, so many amazing speakers. So too much speaking, and now let's go to the action.
Nice. The attendance form. Guys, I know some of you have had some problems with the past attendance forms. We are not ignoring your emails, but we are implementing a cool thing so we can fix the issues that we have had with the attendance form. But meanwhile, don't forget to scan the QR code and open, and also you have received through email the attendance form.
Nice. So today, I have the pleasure to introduce you to our first speaker, Kalapana Arias. She's a technologist, urban green activist, gardener, and the founder of Nowadays on Earth, a social enterprise advocating for contact with nature. Alongside Nowadays on Earth, Kalapana campaigns for urban nature and nature rights through urban greening projects and tech policy reforms, has been researching technology ecologies for over 7 years, delivering a global TED Talk, spoken at the United Nations and the Edge Project, and is a trustee for Grow Charity. Kalapana is currently an environmental consultant for corporations and governments and works with leading charities, institutions, brands, and grassroots change makers. Thank you, Kalapana, for being here. We're so excited to learn from everything that you have to say and share with us.
So when I say
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. My name is Kalpana, and I'm the founder of Nowadays on Earth. I'm a technologist and guerrilla gardener. And today we're here to kind of look at the way that we can create further impact through filmmaking and videos and short form content, or whatever filmmaking means to you in your practice, your career, or the spaces that you want to impact. So I want to start off with some of the very first basics that I sort of approach content creation with, especially when it comes to audio editing and post-production. The most important thing for me is always creating in a way that feels accessible to me, but also to my community, and especially when we live in a space where there's a lot of types of content and a lot of content pollution out in the ethers and in the cyberspace, how we can sort of circumvent it and hack the system in a way that actually looks at sharing the messages that we want to get out in the world with this most impact as possible. So in terms of like some of the very practical elements, I'm going to speak from like my personal experience and how I approach content creation and content making. But for me, creating things that are accessible and on demand in the moment is the way that I approach content creation, and also especially making that accessible to people in my community. So I like to shoot content primarily with my phone. So it's a really accessible technology for me. And it means that I can also do everything directly on my phone. So I use an app called InShot to kind of cut and splice and create a lot of my video content. I started using that maybe like 5 years ago, but I know that since then there's been a lot of change within the apps themselves, and even within TikTok and Instagram, the editing processes are actually a little bit more refined. So it is also great to use those too. And I like it to make it as easy as possible for me to create content. So I do a lot of voiceovers and audio recordings directly on the apps themselves. However, I do know that it's also great to do it separately. So sometimes when I want to create fuller in-depth pieces, I do use items like Adobe Pro. So within it, you have Premiere Pro or After Effects that can support in refining that, depending on whatever it is that you're capturing. But for me, creating with like raw footage is always really important, especially because of the type of work I do, which is working directly with grassroots communities to showcase all of the urban growing and urban greening that is happening within their cities. And one of the most accessible tools that we have for that is our phones. So that's been a really big part of the way that I approach content creation and filmmaking. But for me, a part of changing the power from purely just storytelling to actual, impact making is making sure that within the editing process, I always leave space for interaction and for open-ended questions or spaces where I can really engage and interact with the user interface in a way that feels human and not just another form of stream of content into the cyberspace and ethers itself. So I think that that's a really important part where you're thinking about how you're editing things and what you're communicating, but also how you're finessing the endings of your content and spaces. So one of my favorite things is actually just to leave open questions so that people can feel like they can be a part of that content creation itself. And then that leads on to more deeper explorations or more information in other videos down the line. So I'd love to hear from maybe people who are in the space currently, if they have any questions, to pop them through in the chat. And I think I'm able to see that, or someone will be able to show that to me as well. And yeah, I think if you're more tech savvy, I know definitely Adobe Pro and all of the Adobe suites that have further and finer tools on, how to cut your audio and also reduce background noises or add in different effects that can support that. But I think in terms of creating things that are approachable to you, apps within your phones themselves have the ability to do that. So even just within the platforms that you're using to share things, mostly in Instagram or TikTok. YouTube doesn't really have that as much, but just thinking about the way that you're wanting to engage your audience, and looking at things that might, different kind of like effects or ways of approaching editing that are trendy. So sometimes things that I like to do is a bit of background research before I create some content, is try to look at what's trendy within the last week or 2 weeks, and have my own personal take on how it is that I'm showing a video or how it is that I'm communicating a message, because then you can kind of hack the algorithm and the system so that you're creating in a way that is impactful but is also following a certain trend that means that it will have more views or more shows. And I also really, really love all of the green screen effects that have been placed inside of the features, just because it allows you to be very interactive, visual, and immersive. And I think in a digital age where we're living, we're with very short attention spans, and we need to create those spaces of attraction and also sort of demand for attention, but do it in a way that is for the good of people and the planet. Definitely, I think showcasing images alongside your videos or how you're communicating things is really helpful and impactful. But yeah, maybe I'd like to pause there and see if there's any questions or comments that have come up from the group.
Hi, Kalpana, how are you doing? Indeed, Luigi is our guru, Mentimeter guru, so she will be assist you to.
Hi, Kalpana, how are you?
Hi, Luigi, how are you? Good.
Okay. Well, so the first question that we have for you is, how do you use AI or other tools to help in the video editing process?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Very advanced for me as well. To be honest, I'm still learning how to use AI within the editing process, but in terms of I think giving it information and training it to your style is a great way to kind of start. But yeah, I mean, if anyone else within the team knows or has been using AI for video editing, feel free to share it in the chat. That's something that I'm still learning, even with just like static content creation. But I know it is a really useful tool, especially when it comes to the types of information that you should be sharing and can be sharing. So yeah, I definitely recommend looking into that.
So it's like a new space, not much known about it till now.
For sure.
Okay, well, the next question is, how do you make sure that the editing keeps the people engaged in the process?
Yeah, I think it really depends onto your own creative style. I think that's something that you have to sort of investigate and ask yourself in terms of short form or long form content creation. Personally, for me, I have built an audience that likes to be engaged through long form storytelling, and also for me, short form bite-sized content is great for sort of like starting on a trend of a new information. But essentially, I always like to lead people into longer forms of information, because that's really where all of the juice and all of the meatiness is at, and really where we're going to be transforming people's minds through storytelling. But I think it really, you really kind of have to be inquisitive as to like what your own creative process is. And also in terms of engagement, different sounds have different impacts on like how we receive information. So looking into that, but also colors are actually, colors and images as you're sharing, things through video, keeping it like diverse and impactful. We are a very we do live in a very visual culture. And as we're sort of transitioning through this phase of, away from the attention economy and into very much grounded forms of information, we still have to kind of use the master's tools in a way to kind of continue fighting for these futures that we want to see, which are more grounded in the spirit of what we're talking about and saying. But it's super important, I think, to use what we have now and what we know works from a marketing trend perspective, but use it for good.
So to use it in a way that's not kind of like letting the whole video editing, not letting the magic go away into a trend.
Exactly. And I think also, I mean, it's kind of, the technical parts are editing, but at the end of the day, I think the spirit in which we do things is super important, especially when it comes to anything that is actually like really visual. I think people do pick up on that kind of like energetic interface level. So kind of approaching what you want to share with a very high level of awareness of how you're communicating it, so that people can connect to it much deeper.
Okay, so for the next question, which format do you prefer more for shorts, like YouTube shorts and reels and stuff? Horizontal or vertical? And tell us why.
So for sure, like for short form content, I prefer vertical, just because it's accessible and approachable to how I make content itself. Like if I'm filming with a tripod and all of the technical aspects that come to that, and also that's just kind of how the algorithm has sort of taken us into this vertical form of content. I do think with YouTube, I mean, having the horizontal features and having longer forms is super useful. And that's kind of where you want to lead your audience traffic to. Never using like the items where you end as like a stopping point for just where you want to take your audience. Because if you're talking about systemic transformation with whatever message that you want to share, you want to make sure that it's coming from a place of just complete circularity of like, okay, where am I taking my audience to? So always thinking about that transformational journey for them and not having it end at just like a 1 minute,
Yeah, that does make sense. It makes a lot of sense when you said it like that. For our next question, someone's asking, how do you use a GoPro in the ocean effectively? And this question, I think that's something that our audience would love to know, because we're actually giving out a ton of GoPros through challenges and stuff. So a lot of the people attending the course are receiving GoPros from the GYC, and then they're going to use them to, make short movies and content about the NGOs that they're working with, or about like nature-based solutions in general. So that's a really nice question. So
that's a really great question. I'm guessing maybe you work within ocean advocacy if you're asking this, because I mean, it's a great question. I know that I use a GoPro for like more personal forms of storytelling, specifically like so I like to wear my GoPro when I'm trying to take people through like my own journey of activism, or when I'm doing guerrilla gardening across the city, I'm wearing my GoPro so people can feel like as if they were engaged within the process of the gardening that I'm doing. Within the ocean, I know that GoPro sells like these cases that can go into the water, and it's all great and fine to use. I've never actually done that because most of my work is land work. So I think unless I start doing some like algae restoration, then I'll let you know.
Okay. Another question is, how can we improve with low budget? So I think what this person meant is like, how can you improve your storytelling when you're on a budget?
Yes. I think I love this question because for me, I see storytelling as a really accessible tool for systemic change, and actually like empowering communities and people who don't necessarily have the funds or the budgets for all these like techy tools and all of these things. So that's kind of why I mentioned like I love using my phone for content creation, because everyone mostly has a phone these days. And in terms of improving, I think picking up themes and topics that you might be able to do just by taking in content actually, and like kind of like sort of starting backwards. So I
Doing
like
your research through looking at content and then
yeah,
seeing
and start backwards, like dissect it in an anatomical way. Like when someone does a certain effect that I like, or is telling a story in with like different effects and edits that I'm like, oh, this is really, really fantastic, where I'm really being taken through like different transitional elements from like, you know, being a human to maybe like looking at the world through a plant, and like all of the different also lenses that you can apply to it. I think, yeah, taking that step backwards of like, okay, how did they get to this stage to see that is really useful. And I mean, YouTube is a great tool for learning how to do all of things, as well as like TikTok and all of these different platforms, which are basically now search engines for, you know, looking at what you how you want to do things. And there's a lot of great free content out there on how to just make things in very low budget. So it's definitely possible.
We have about 2 minutes left, so I think we can fit in another question. Augustin, could you jump in and help me with this one?
Sure. So, hi, Kalpana. First of all, thank you for your time and for the knowledge that you have shared today. I also was curious of how we can I like that you mentioned that the GoPro is something that you were using to record some more personal stuff, because it allows you to have these close shots with people without disturbing with the camera or with the phone in your face. Is more like discreet-ish, let's say. So my question for you is, there's moments that not everyone has, for example, a good phone, or but let's say you don't have access to cameras right now. What other way do you find that you could also create something and post it in social media that has not the same impact and amount, but some way also creates an own ripple effect in their own way?
And that's like without a phone, is that, or just?
Yeah,
Yeah. I like this challenge. Yes. So I mean, I think even if you're not filming something or editing something, there's something really powerful about sharing your story onto a camera, because in some ways it's, you know, it shows human fragility and vulnerability in ways that is actually makes us feel connected to one another. So if you don't have a phone, or if you don't have a camera, I mean, you know, like I kind of grew up in an era where I went to local computer cafes in order to go on MSN and like, you know, chat with my friends. And all of that has all of these sort of videos and cameras that you can use. Libraries have this as well. So even though you might not be able to take that device out in the world and share it, you can share yourself there, and you can also you know, share experiences, or even if maybe showing yourself might be, you know, too much and too vulnerable and you'd like to do something else, you know, screen recording a journey that you would like people to go through and to see. I think there's so many creative avenues that you can play with and
nice.
explore. Yeah.
That's really creative, Kalpana. And actually, it's just like a hotspot, because as Luigi was sharing before earlier, we will be providing these action cameras to the youth outside. And the idea is that at some point, Reforesting for Peace becomes a platform for sustainable stock videos. Because you were mentioning that there's these libraries of videos out there, right? But what if we were wondering with GYC, through this program, what if the people that is already taking care of these beautiful landscapes are those that are filmmaking these stock videos in these amazing environments, and then they post it, and someone that doesn't have the access to go to these places can at least get the videos from someone that is already taking care of this place. So I don't know, Luigi, you have something to add, but That's actually the next step of reforesting for peace.
Yeah, that's
Really
the
cool.
phase 2 of it. So I think we should take one more question. Why not? Because I like this one a lot, to be honest. How do you balance self-expression or creativity between satisfying the viewer's interests? So where do you draw the line between like expressing yourself and appealing to the audience's needs or what they need to see, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like to, so I've been experimenting over the past couple of years now, but I like to follow like an 80-20 rule, where I also leave space for like that co-creative element between myself and the audience, and we're growing and learning together as I'm sharing things. But I like to share 80% of like what I really do creatively, because that's what fuels my work and fuels my passion, and also that's how I've built my audiences through that creativity. But then 20% is really left for like what I really ask directly, like what do you guys want to see, and what do you really care to kind of get from this content, and really create focused items from that. But the percentages can be different for you, or depending on what you want to share or what you want to do. It's a very personal choice, but that's kind of what I like to follow. But also I think the room between the creator and the audience is a super important relationship, because it's very symbiotic, and what you share starts to also impact what they like, and vice versa. So leaving room for that kind of creativity and exploration.
Okay.
One question, Kalpana, how did you found your community, these people where you knew how to leverage the different kind of content that you're mentioning? Because it's a hard process for me. Sometimes people like what I post, some others no, and I don't know where's my balance.
Yeah, I mean, like it's an interesting question, because I find that most of my community is on the ground, working with grassroots activists and growers and gardeners, and a lot of the times we're trying to also figure out a lot of the questions and obstacles that we're approaching. So I think the way that I've approached in finding and growing my community is connecting to those questions that are very difficult to answer, and in that way kind of supporting that network building, and also library of resources of how we can how this media is actually supporting collective knowledge. So that's been very useful.
Okay, well,
Exactly.
thank you so much, Kalpana. Like everything that you've been saying, it's really, really informative. We've loved the session. So have like our audience and everyone. And yeah, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Kalpana.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.
Bye. So right now we are going back to the Señorita Hannah. Tell us who
Hello,
is
wow. I am amazed, and there's so much information. And now we're going to our next speaker. So, we'll continue for us to continue with the program. It's my pleasure to introduce Giada Barsahi. She's a highly energetic and open-minded person who loves the beauty of natural world. Her favorite hobbies include outdoor sports like mountain climbing and surfing, which provides a sense of exhilaration and connection to the environment. Passionate about sustainability, Giada is particularly drawn to the droughts economics model as a solution for a more balanced and equitable economic system. In her work in ESG, she sees the power that business have to drive positive change. While Giada embraces challenges as opportunities for growth, she also values maintaining a balanced lifestyle, nurturing empathetic relationships, whether at work or during adventures, is key to making her experience meaningful. Wow, it's a pleasure to have you here, Giada. Thank you for being here. And while she connects, I'll share with you that here is the Mentimeter. So for us to connect with you, and so you, the audience, can make your questions to Giada.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. Hi, Giada. Sorry,
Okay,
am I
great.
pronouncing your name correctly?
It's Jada, but
Giada. Thank you.
okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Well, thank you for the very nice introduction. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you today, and really thank you for inviting us. I'm talking in the name of Victoria. It's really a pleasure for us to be part of this class.
No, thank you for being here. The floor is all yours, and afterwards we have some questions. So, all you. Thank you.
Thanks. Maybe I'll share my screen. I'll just present. Maybe you tell me if you can see it. Share screen.
Do you know the way to connect to your slides? So at the bottom, you can connect it by uploading them. I don't know if you see that option.
Oh, okay. So slides.
So when I say we have 2 years to save the world, it begs the question, who exactly has 2 years to save?
Hi, Jada. How are you doing? Did you find the button?
I clicked on upload. So hopefully.
Yeah. Did you? If you upload them, just present them, and we will place it on the screen. Don't worry. Or you can also present your screen.
Here. Okay, open.
There you go.
Got
Nice. Yes, there you go. Now we are there. Thank you, Jada. The floor is all yours.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, sorry, just to understand, you are projecting the slides I shared with you before. So
Yeah, exactly.
I have to tell you when to go on.
Computer right now. Right now is your computer. Sorry.
When you want to go to the next slide, just tell me next. Just say next slide and I'll turn it for you, okay?
Awesome. Okay, thank
Perfect.
you. Yeah, as you may already know, today I'm here to tell you about our new award-winning sustainability and performance gravel tire. Because in Vitoria, we make bicycle tires that are the industry leaders in the sector. And maybe before, just a brief intro on Vitoria. If we go on the next slide, there should be a video so you can have a bit of background on what we do, our identity.
I believe the video, Luigi, is in the slide, and you have to press the link with control.
If it's not working, no worries. We can also go to the next one.
There, Luigi. Okay. Maybe meanwhile, keep presenting it, and we will have the video ready when I'm back. Okay. Let's keep going with the next slide.
Yes, and so as I was saying, in Vitoria we make bicycle tires, and when you bicycles, you often associate the industry to good practices, clean, sustainability, but in fact the truth is that making bicycles and bicycle components still have a very intense impact on the environment. And in Vitoria, we are aware of this. Therefore, we're acting on different levels, and we're working on our materials, on our operations, and overall on the impact we have on the community we live in. Video. Okay, great. Maybe let's look at the video, then we can go to the next. Thanks, Luigi.
The ride ahead speaks to our hearts and our heads. And it lives in our products, people, and places. Our products are launching careers, building reputations, improving safety, increasing speed, grip, and durability. Taking on the category giants and winning. Taking on new challenges and succeeding. Taking the best and making it better. Then going further to make the most sustainable tyre ever. Our people are curious, optimistic, courageous. From colleagues continually pushing the boundaries of innovation, to partners always pushing the limits of performance. That's what it takes to be a leader, and why our places are integral to our vision. Like our groundbreaking home for innovation and experience, Victoria Park. Like our inspirational home in the Bentonville Cycling Hub. And the most advanced cotton tyre factory in the cycling industry, our new home for carbon neutral operations. A global first. We've made a promise to ourselves and the world. We're not waiting for a better future. We're creating it. That's the ride ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Luigi. Now that was the intro on our company. You have a bit of background on who we are. And so if we can go to the next slide, please. Great. Yeah, I was telling you, we are acting on different topics to reduce our impact on the environment. And next slide, please. We have committed, so our strategy, our sustainability strategy starts from this commitment to reducing our carbon footprint by 55% by 2030, taking a baseline of 2015. And we have also committed to reporting Scope 1 and 2 yearly. To do that, yes, next slide, please. To do that, we have been acting on product, so increasing the renewable and recycled content of our products, starting from the Terreno Pro, which I will tell you more about later. We have certified our newly open factory in Thailand as a carbon neutral operations. And we also take care of the end of life of our tires with the tire collection and recycling scheme. For now, active only in Italy, but we want to expand it to other countries as well. Next, please. Moving forward, of course, our aim is that of expanding. Great, yes, Terreno Pro. So let's go straight to Terreno Pro, which is our we haven't launched it yet. We have presented it, so people are aware of this product, but it's not available on the market yet. And I would like to give you an overview on this tire, which we have developed for gravel use. Maybe on the next slide we can see some more details. This tire, which was developed by Victoria Tires Thailand, by our colleagues specifically, in Thailand has a renewable and recycled content of 92%. It's an industry-leading performance, as we're the first one in the bicycle tire industry to reach such high performance. And we have won the award for Taipei Cycle, the Design and Innovation Awards in 2024. And as I was saying here, I've also reported, maybe it's a bit too technical from the knowledge from the audience we have today. So we can also go to the next slide. I can tell you more about what's innovative about this product. The innovation lies in the kind of materials we have been using. So we have started from the approach was to start from 100% renewable and recycled material, rather than saying, okay, let's see from 50% where we stand now, what we can improve. We said, okay, let's start from 100%. Let's make a completely disruptive bicycle tire with completely new materials that are not normally used in the industry. And let's see what we can get down to without compromising on performance. And therefore, we have selected some materials that have helped us to reach astonishing performance, really better than our current best performing gravel tires. And these materials are the certified organic cotton. We already use cotton in our tires, but certified organic is definitely something innovative, something that no one in the industry, in the bicycle industry, has been using. Whereas you see organic cotton everywhere in textiles now, in the bicycle industry is really not a standard. Then we have substituting soybean regular oils with soybean oils, and have used rice husk ash silica, which is a waste, a byproduct of rice husk, to use instead of regular silica. Natural rubber is already contained in our tires, but we have increased the content of natural rubber to substitute all the synthetic rubber content, which is usually in most tires. And we're also planning to certify this rubber, because of course we're aware of all the environmental impacts of this product. Plus the very interesting, the most interesting materials we were able to source, thanks to a very strong collaboration with our supplier, is the recycled nylon from used fish nets. Maybe to the next slides, we can see these materials also zoomed in. Yeah, here you can see the our colleague working in the factory in Thailand, developing this new compound. And on the right, the organic cotton we have put in the tire, and the recycled fish nets, the recycled nylon from fish nets, which I was mentioning before. And next slide. In the next slide, we can see how this tire is produced in our new carbon neutral operation certified factory. Because for us, as I was mentioning at the beginning, it was very important to work on the whole product life cycle. So we've worked on the materials, we have worked on the operations. Therefore, we have achieved last year the carbon neutral operation certification for our factory. Very briefly, what have we done? We have measured our greenhouse gases emissions according to the carbon neutral protocol. And then we have reduced our emissions where we could reduce, so eliminating all gas consumption, which I can tell you normally is very high in regular bicycle tire factories due to the processes of vulcanization. And then we have installed solar panels and bought renewable energy certificates where it was not possible to source renewable energy directly. We also had to offset some of the remaining emissions through carbon credits, certified carbon credits selected by climate impact partners. we, of course, in the long term, we aim to completely reduce all our emissions and not being dependent on carbon credits. But for now, to reach carbon neutrality and balance out our impact, we purchased these. Next slide, please. And as a consequence, the Terreno Pro, this whole product, if compared to a standard gravel tire produced in Vitoria, has a reduced carbon footprint. So we have achieved just through the use of materials a 6.3 compared to a standard gravel tire of Vitoria. And compared to our standard production in one of the factories which are not certified as carbon neutral, we were able to further reduce the footprint of the product by 40%. So through a mix of materials and operations, that's the results we came to. And finally, as I was saying, we also take care of the product at its end of life to show you the importance of working on the full life cycle. For now, we have this project just running in Italy, and we collect bicycle tires and inner tubes from any producers, so not just for Vitoria, and we recycle them through a company called Esosport, which transforms them into flooring for athletic tracks and playgrounds. And yeah, that's it about the product. One thing I wanted to share with you today was the challenge that we were facing with the product. Of course, the development challenge was a huge one, but the biggest challenge for us was actually how to market this product, because you may be aware of these many consumers, especially in the cycling industry and especially in our sector, where many people are focusing on performances. People say, yes, I care about the environment, but then when you give them a product which is just more sustainable, it's not given that they're willing to purchase the product. So we first tried with the independence strategy. So what if we were giving the same product with more sustainable attributes, but keeping the traditional performance benefit? Well, this wasn't really working, as we had to increase the price of the product because of different sourcing materials and practices. And the independent strategy didn't work. The dissonance, we didn't even consider it as offering lower performance and more sustainability is not a trade-off for us. When we went for the resonance strategy, we were able to actually increase the performance of our tires and offer also more sustainable attributes. That's where we won. And I just wanted to throw this here, as I know in this class you also talk a lot about communication, and really the struggle for us was to find people that were actually willing to pay something more for a product that is more sustainable, despite what they claim. And another note, I've been speaking about gravel tires. So this tire is intended for gravel bikes and used on gravel terrains, but you're very free. Anyone can use it in urban environments. So this application can be extended to urban environments. And also we aim to extend this technology to our tires in the urban sector as well. So this is just a lighthouse project we're launching. Thank you. And here you can find my contact details. If you want to drop me an email or ask some questions, feel free to do so. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, hi Jad. Hi, I'm sorry, can you tell me how to pronounce your name again? Because I don't want to
Jada is correct.
Okay, hi Jada. Well, that was really, really amazing. I didn't know that kind of technology existed. I didn't know we could use those materials. So for me, that was really informative as well. We do have a few questions for you from the audience. And the first one is, how much carbon dioxide does a normal bike produce versus yours?
Normal bicycle tire.
Yeah.
So the industry average, first of all, there aren't many calculations on this, but the industry average is around 10 kilograms of CO2 equivalent. We are on around 5 on average, considering our range. Terreno
Okay.
Pro is around 5. Then we're also planning to publish all the footprint for our products. They will be available around next month.
Okay. That's great, actually.
Yeah,
We have
so
another question, which is, how difficult is it to bring sustainability in a company the size of Vittoria?
well, I can say, as we are fragmented, we are a group. So here in Italy, where we have our headquarters, not too hard, as it's coming from our CEO. Our CEO and president is very keen on sustainability. He's the one who wants us to really act on sustainability. But I can tell you that having the factory in Thailand, having other offices in the US, the expansion of this sense of this commitment to sustainability is not that easy, and there's still a lot of work to do to change companies, people's mindset and way of working.
Someone's asking you why the color of Terreno Pro is the color that it is. I think it's a weird but interesting question.
Yeah, very. I'm glad that you asked. It's because there's no carbon black. So carbon black is what we have, what we put. Everyone puts in tires. We have removed the carbon black that gives the black color to the tires, and also the main brown color, natural brown we call it, is due to the natural rubber.
Okay.
Can I do
Also,
one
can
question?
tell you the smell is good compared to
Yeah,
another
I
tire.
can't believe it. Sorry to jump in, but I was really wondering when I started to hear about your technology, it came to my brain this realization that also when we are driving bicycle, we are producing CO2 because we are ignoring the fact that there's all these different elements that make the bike itself, but the tire is something that we, the bikers, change constantly, and we give it for granted that it's not as bad for the environment as the auto is, the wheel of an auto is. So it's really impressive. And now that I'm thinking, is this technology at some point or is already available also for cars? Just question. Like, I imagine myself a future with electric cars and your tires.
Well, to the extent of my knowledge, I don't think that it's available on cars at the moment. I know they're doing a lot of work because they're really subject to a lot of pressure from the regulatory point of view. There may be some very cool advancement coming, but so far this technology is just bicycle tires, and it's just Vittoria.
Okay. Wow, that sounds amazing. Just to clarify for those youngsters that are having trouble with the link of the attendance form, believe me that Luigi has a really special task to solve this problem. But meanwhile, Luigi, tell us another question.
Also, for the people in the chat who were sending that it's the wrong attendance form, we just sent the right one now, so you guys can go and register from that one. Jada, someone's asking, how is this product enhancing or protecting nature, and do you have a CSR program? I'm not quite sure what a CSR program is, but maybe you can tell us.
Corporate sustainability, corporate social responsibility program. Yes, starting from one, we do have a CSR program. Our ESG report can be found on our website, int.vittoria.com. Soon we will be published the report for 2023. And from this strategy, Terreno Pro was part of this strategy. Within this strategy, we committed to working on people, governance, and the environment. And we thought, so we first measured our corporate carbon footprint, and we saw that material sourcing has the highest impact. It's around 60% of our corporate carbon footprint is due to the materials we use to manufacture bicycle tires. So Terreno Pro is helping us reducing this impact by sourcing more sustainable materials. So substituting synthetic rubber, which has a specific environmental impact, with natural rubber, organic cotton instead of regular cotton, recycled nylon instead of nylon. So this product is helping us protecting nature by reducing the impact of our production on the planet. So people, as your colleague was saying, people need to change their tires at some point. Our tires are very durable, so we're also working on durability. But at some point, they wear out, and when they have to change it, they can go for a more sustainable alternative.
What's the difference between the time with your tire and a normal one? Which one lasts more?
So if we talk about industry averages, so also the entry-level alternatives, our tires, I would say they are at least doubled. Then it depends. We also have different constructions, but in terms of kilometers, our tires are at least doubled. Then we have those that are made for endurance, so you can make, say, 10,000 kilometers. And those that are made for racing, which have higher performances, lower durability, but still higher than the standards.
Okay, that's amazing, Jada. That is so because durability is also an important factor in the moment that you decide to buy a product or not. But now jumping a bit out of the bike wheel tire part, how do you think that this is connected with a nature-based solution? When we were designing the program, we were really thinking who we will invite to showcase what you can do in the city. And there's people planting trees, there's people, but not everyone wants to do this kind of things. And you guys are solving a problem while creating profitable parts. So would you recommend something to those youngsters that are not necessarily into planting trees or taking garbage, but into innovation and technology?
Yes, I think this is a great example on how regular synthetic materials, products made with synthetic materials, which we are surrounded by, especially in urban settings, there's plenty of synthetic materials, how we can substitute them with their nature-based alternatives, as we have done here, synthetic rubber substituted with natural rubber. This is just an example of more finding the nature-based alternative to synthetic alternatives we use now.
Okay, perfect. So Jada, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your presentation. I guess Hannah is around there, is coming soon. I am so happy because I got this camera and this camera is following me automatically.
Thank you all
for everything and all this amazing work that you're doing. It inspires all of us that are studying something related to sustainability. Seeing the amazing work that you're doing, it's amazing. So thank you for inspiring us.
Thank you all. It was a pleasure being with you, and good luck. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I know I have the slides, but Luigi, can you explain us what is going on with our next speakers?
Okay, so our next speakers are called Omar Rashid and Mohammed Hirzullah from Gaza. And unfortunately, they prepared the internet connection and everything, but due to the circumstances of the genocide and the war, they no longer have a stable internet connection. We're actually figuring it out with them now to see if they can record a video and then present it as the next speakers. But we're just fixing the problem. But until we do, I'm going to tell you about who they are and what they've been doing, because they're actually extremely inspiring youngsters. So Hannah and Augustin, you guys go ahead, and I will fix this in turn.
Thank you. Thank you, Luigi.
Thank you so much, Luigi. And yeah, also, I was really excited to get to hear Omar and Mohammed that are actually creating this inspiring content in the middle of a war in Gaza. When I found them on Instagram, I was really surprised how under all these circumstances, you can find the purpose and the motivation to create positive content at the moment that you are supporting your own community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see the power of like what they're doing as well.
So actually, they're gonna video call from the phone, and then I'm gonna transmit it by doing this. Okay.
Okay.
I'm also seeing if I can.
Question. If they can call you, why then just don't join the link through the phone as well?
I think it's to do with security reasons. There's an error in internet both, so let's just try with that. Okay.
Maybe we can put you in full screen.
Yeah,
I was thinking if we can share your screen, Luigi.
Okay, of course. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Hi guys, how are you? Hi Omar. Hi Mohammed. Yeah, we can hear you. I'm just gonna prepare the. Okay, so.
Hi Omar.
Hi, thank you for joining.
Who's talking?
Okay, so that's Hannah and that's Augustin.
Okay.
And they're about to introduce you.
Okay, so welcome you both. So Omar Rashed is an 18 years old guy from Gaza. He's a high school graduate, majored in business administration before the war. And Mohammed Hersalah is a 19 years old guy, also from Gaza, and he's a school graduate, majored in engineering before the war. And currently they are stuck in their al-Bala. So welcome, Omar and Mohammed. It's such a pleasure, and believe me, I am your fan.
Me